together, to stay together, because the leadership of your FA is ready to listen to the other mind. We are ready, and we will listen to the other mind. We will listen to discerning voices. The 4 years ahead of us is to allow all of us to accelerate our rate of development. And it will not take only me, it will not take only my ESCO, it will take each one of us to let go of the past and open a new chapter of developing our game. A new chapter of bringing love to one another. A new chapter of ensuring that we stretch our hands around our shoulders and say, Midema, we are one. 2 days ago, I had a meeting with my brother, my colleague George Free. I have just one message for him. We can only build the Ghanaian game when we stay together. The football cake is a very big one. And everybody, including my brother George, has a role to play. I will reach out to George and I'll bring him back home. So, George, wherever you are, we are one. My message to you is Midema. My message to you is Midema. In the next 4 years, and this message is very important, we have to learn to respect our status. We have to learn to read our status, because that is our Bible. That is our Quran. If you spend time reading the Quran, spend equal time reading the statutes of the Football Association. That puts bread on our table.
On WarmUp Plus, like we said before the break, we're about to discuss the GFA elections. Yao Fosulabi made the journey. He covered it. We brought you some live feed yesterday. Yao, would you tell us who is in the studio and what we're going to be discussing?
Well, I will do the introduction here, and then you will do the introduction there, because we are introducing the one closest to us. Exactly. So this is Ohene Brinya Bampo, and Ohene is a senior sports journalist. He's been doing this job for so many years now. And Ohene, thank you so much for joining us. It's your first time here?
First time on this show, but I think the third time on TV3.
Yeah.
We have John in the house. You know, when Leonard Minds meets, we just let them
no, that's
be
why
doing the talking. No, I understand. But John, you're very welcome. You're very welcome here. If you want to say your full name, what you want your government's name to be, how you want us to address you on the show, we'll give you that utmost respect.
No, the full name is John Kwame Kwesi.
Yeah, we'll give that. We'll give that to you, Mr. Kwesi. Thank you so much.
Lawyer Papa.
Thank you.
You need to add that.
Yeah, it's that part of it. But I mean, definitely. But yeah, we'll start with you because you went there. You covered it.
Yeah. So on Thursday, the GFA elections took place at the Tamale Conference Center. That's what the name of the place is called. And Keto Kreku got a resounding victory out of 119 votes that were cast. Resounding victory, 117, and he stood alone. It has to be out there that he was the only person who was up to be elected for the presidency. 2 people said no to him, 117 people said yes. And then on the executive council as well, there were members who also voted for. Dr. Tony Obin could not get back on the ESCO, and then Sami Enimado also could not get back to the ESCO from the Division 1 League. And so we are going to delve into it, and Lawyer is also going to give us a different perspective of what we saw on Thursday and what the implications are for our football and particularly our lives, because football is basically our lives. So
definitely. When you were giving your intro, Mr. Kwesi was laughing. I
realized that.
You come to him and ask him why he was laughing.
And I'll ask him the question. So, Lawyer, let me just start with you.
Okay, to begin with, if it were to be at the law court, I would have been interrupting and be saying objection
my lord.
Objection at that point, especially when you mentioned the resounding victory. I come from a psychology background. A human being as such, when you are exposed to certain environment, okay, you have no option than to conform to the situation.
Okay.
The Ghana Football Association's Congress, more or less loosely, we could say is a rubber stamp sort of thing, because the system is made in such a way that depending on the leadership, okay, who may want to kind of give a good signal or a bad signal, the members are swayed, okay, towards that direction.
Okay.
Until when we all come together and say that, okay, the way the system is, it doesn't give the members the opportunity to be themselves. It doesn't give the members the opportunity to even speak out when they feel they have problems.
Yeah.
When you mention the resounding, it can never be resounding because that is how the system is. Look at when
They could have said no.
No.
They had an opportunity
That's what
to
I'm
say
saying
no.
psychologically as human beings, when you're exposed to a certain environment.
But Lawyer,
in
two
your
people
life,
said no. Two
but-
people exercised
yeah,
that
exactly,
and said
and
no.
that's why I said
Yeah,
resounding,
but-
because if there were people who said no,
You see-
and then you had an opportunity to say no and you
let
didn't say it,
me
then
give you further and better particulars.
Particulars.
Look
Yeah,
at
they are
it
taking you to court
all
too.
the way from your primary, secondary, wherever we have been, okay? Anytime somebody was contesting unopposed, I mean, it is very difficult. Look at NDC election, PP election, any form of election that we have witnessed before. Whenever the person was going unopposed,
Yeah.
I mean, they have no other, to look into your
The majority
friends,
would go for
yeah,
it.
by all means, at least you say, okay, I'm not your friend. And these are people, most of whom supported Georgia Free. You understand? But then on that occasion, Kurt is the only person I have put up.
So better that than waste your ballot.
Exactly. So they just kick it. But then the issues are myriad, and then you and I know what occasion it. As I speak to you, the Electoral Commission of Ghana gave a complete boycott. They didn't show up.
Okay.
The Ghana Police Service gave a complete boycott. They circulated information all over. But you see, in order to deceive the public, a lady put on this jacket to depict that they were coming from the Electoral Commission. Meanwhile, this is an internally arranged thing. If you are going into an election, your members are not happy. Everybody is aggrieved with it. Majority of us are not endorsing what we are doing. And you know, the GFA, Ghana government, is a major stakeholder of the Ghana Football Association. As a matter of fact, it is the Ghana government under Nkrumah and Ohinja, they established the Ghana Football Association.
Yeah.
Because they also handle the national teams. They pay, they finance all the money we use for our tournament and other things before FIFA will reimburse.
Right.
Do you get the point?
Yeah.
So there's no way we can have leadership of the GFA without the involvement of Ghana government. Because when there's chaos, okay, when there's mayhem visited a place, by all means, the rippling effects will also affect the government. Government functionaries, people who matter, are telling you, don't go for this election. You are still insisting, you say you go and do. Everybody is telling you what you are doing is very wrong. Now you are done with it. Let's see the repercussion for Monday. Are you getting? Is that what we all want? And the members are saying, if you think you are there, you are too powerful, you want to still have your way out, okay, go and do the illegal thing. As I speak to you, the matter is before the High Court. There is injunction on it. They've also filed contempt cases. They've served all of them. They are aware of all this.
Mr.
Not-
Gosen, that was the issue, because most people thought that they had been postponed. Most people thought that it was not going to
Exactly,
go through.
exactly.
For the coverage to happen that way, it makes you wonder what
Exactly.
decisions went into it
You see?
ultimately taking
Yeah.
place.
And then whilst you are on stage, after all this illegality, then you say they should forgive you. Forgive you for what? Are you getting the point? And then you are saying all those whose right you have curtailed and so on and so forth, it won't happen. But you have done the illegal thing. And will you even be in your right frame of mind to work with the same people? And what signal are you sending out today? Are you telling the entire Ghanaian populace that if a matter is before a court of competent jurisdiction, they should not respect the court, they should not respect the court system in Ghana? Is that the signal you want to portray? or you are telling everybody that when you are a leader and you think you can use your powers against the others, just go ahead, use the Atakashi. When you are done, then you say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
But
And
Mr.
people
Kwesi,
will just,
he has a legal team. I presume he knows the implications of whatever it is going on. So, for instance, you have your team that you're
I am
taking
telling
after,
you
you're
on
advising
authority, from what we hear, the legal team members were against what they went to do. And like I'm saying,
So it begs the question, why did it go
who
through
is
then?
legal team compared to government? Are you getting it? The Minister of Sport, for the first time, who is even closer to them, refused to go because of the issue. There was demonstration. First time in the history of Ghana, the Ghana Football Association election. Then people will go and demonstrate. Amaju Pene from Nigeria is a FIFA executive member. He's within the African terrain. He came, he tried to resolve the matter. When he came here and he saw the heaviness, the court issues, and he said, hey, I wash my hands. And then away. He couldn't even stay because it sends a bad signal.
This started with a laugh. And now
now you understand
the bottom of it.
So let's just bring Ohene into the conversation. Now, Ohene, Mr. Question has gone through the legal bits of it. And for you as a journalist, what were the notes that you picked from what happened?
Well, it was a very interesting elections. It reminds me of the last elections that was held in the same city, Tamale. You remember? 2018.
2015.
No, 2018. The last one Kwesi had.
Yeah.
And after that,
That was 2015.
Yeah.
No, it was 2015.
Yeah, 2015.
2015, then Anas happened.
Yes.
He didn't finish his term.
Yes.
So it says a very interesting,
No, Henny, you're right, because the very people who want football to get up and running again could make us just put a very strong halt to it again, and then what you're trying to cure is...
My fear is the fact that there are two contempt cases. But don't forget, in the Ashwood case, two of the officials of the FA were, in fact, convicted on contempt.
Yes.
So if you have a lawyer like Kwesi, I'm sure he's going to paint a picture to the court that these guys don't respect the courts.
So the evidence
creating a very...
there, so
if you're a judge, I mean, you'll be moved by... Of course, they've been convicted by, for disrespecting the court, and they've done same on two cases. It's a very complicated matter. I'm sure they've always seek legal advice in terms of what to do. I was told that they were contemplating on two. I mean, of course, they had to choose a lesser evil. Whether they would have to go to court, put the elections on hold. Don't forget, their term of office comes to an end on 25th of October.
which is not true.
I'm just saying.
Right.
That was what they were thinking. It comes to an end on 25th October. Are they going to leave a power vacuum, or go ahead with the elections and face the court later? Which of the two is a lesser evil? It is up to them. Of course, I'm sure they would find lawyers to represent them in court. But the whole entire process was, for me, very interesting. Right from the word get-go, the timetable came very late.
Yep.
And I heard the FA president say we should respect the statutes. I don't think that this FA, by their actions and inactions, have shown all of us that they've respected their own statutes. Because the election of the president is stated very clear in the statutes that it is the Congress, the first Congress, ordinary Congress of the season that elects the president. But guess what? That Congress happened without the election.
Exactly.
They then said elective Congress, based on an emergency Congress, they will elect. But we also know that only Congress elects president. The executive council elections are done by constituent bodies. But in this case, they summed the two together at the same venue, which was a bit confusing. Also, for the lawyer Mandi and elections, it is clear in the statutes that if it goes to runoff, you have a tiebreaker, and it goes to runoff, and it also has a tiebreaker. The third one is postponed. That position is left vacant until the next Congress. But in this Congress, we had the third elections again, flouting the same statute you want your members to uphold. For me, I think that there are lots of issues this FA needs to sit down, reflect upon, and do things better. I'm sure we'll come to the elections itself and the people who won and lost. I was particularly surprised that Kwesi Appiah won.
Why?
Consider the fact that he's agreed to move to Sudan.
No, he's coming from Kotoko.
I understand that bit. I mean, Prime Banaku went on the 3rd of Kotoko and lost. 3 previous elections as an ESCO member. He lost. Of course, Akambi was disqualified, but the last elections, the MD of Accra lost.
He lost. Yeah.
But
Heavily.
even though if he does go, do you think that is in any way going to curtail his ability to do the work on both sides?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He is not invincible. He's not Superman. You can't be in Saudi Arabia and be an ESCO member. If an in-person meeting is called, how are you going to attend?
Yeah.
For me, it's
Flights ahead of time.
Jesus Christ. It's for me. I was surprised that the delegate voted for him. He's an IMC member, technical director of Kotoko. He's going to coach Sudan and an ESCO member. I'm sure, and I heard the fact that they told delegate that he's going to resign after a month or two for Kotoko to have the opportunity to, of course, file another candidate. We'll wait and see how this goes. I'm also surprised that
and maybe it comes down to Mr. Kwesi's psychology argument. It just
well, maybe the powers that be intervened.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
a lot of things
not
happen.
necessarily so too. You see, like I'm saying, when you have a system and then you come into it, you have no option than to fit into it.
Conform.
Our laws are also having a lot of loopholes. And that is why, right at the pace of the normalization committee, we said no. There are some elements within our
needs to be
statute
changed.
that, you know, I'm a Congress member. I was here, I wasn't even invited. Most of the Congress members were not invited, and that makes it more illegal, more unconstitutional. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Now, how will you have a constitution? People will offer themselves to become ESCO members. Then after, the very people you are representing, you don't even go back to them. Mr. Champon, for instance, Achi, my good friend, was on the ticket of Ashgood. Then right after election, he's no more with Ashgood. So the point is, whose interests are you even representing? Are you
but for
getting
that,
it?
but for that, there's been a long-standing argument, debate on that.
No, it can't be. But can't we have better laws?
No, I'm saying that you are not representing the club.
It's
You are
for the
representing
Premier
the
clubs.
block, Premier League club.
But
Premier
you are
League
not
clubs.
part of the Premier Club. How can you represent
Hold on.
a grouping that you are not part
Hold
of?
on. Elections are done in 4 years, right?
Yes.
So are you saying that, for instance, if based on football, if a club, you are nominated by a club in the Premier League and the club gets relegated, you have to leave the executive council.
No,
it is a complete confusion. you are
No,
going to
that's
create.
what I'm saying. You see,
understand
laws
what I'm
are made
So
based
as the
on
lawyers will say,
principles
the
and
letter and the spirit of the law. So let
Yes.
it run 4 years. If it's out, it's out.
Yeah.
I don't see why, if a club, for instance, is relegated, the member, of course, don't forget, you're only nominating the candidates.
Yeah.
And it's representing the block Premier League, not the club as an Ashgood or Dreams FC. Because they are not going to represent the interest of the club. They represent the interest of the block,
Premier League, yeah.
the Premier League block. So for me, I think that these are grey areas, but I would go with the fact that it's a term of office. If it lapses and you're no more with the club, or for instance, Randy Abbey won the elections last time as a division one, rep.
Yeah.
But now he's in there as a Premier League
Premier
rep.
League, yeah.
So I think that for me, I'll go with that arrangement than say representing a club on the executive
No,
council.
it is not a club. It is representing the constituent bodies. Do
Yes.
you get it?
Yes.
If you are on the ticket of first division,
Yes.
throughout the entire 4 years
Yes.
season, you must be there to represent the interests of the first division clubs.
yeah.
And I also brought up the argument that, for instance, I'm elected to represent the first division club. My club is relegated to Division 2. What happens to my slot?
No, but that is a different ball game altogether. Other than you as an official, you come to me next year, you are no more there. And you are there hanging. You are not representing my club. You are not representing the Premier or the First Division. So what is the essence of you being there? By all means, you'll be fighting for your personal interests other than the interests of Ghana football, other than the interests of the club. That's the point I'm trying to...
But I have a different view.
but-
But
He
Yeah,
has a
yeah,
different view.
yeah.
You even mentioned
Yeah,
later in spirit, or he one would think you took a class in constitutional interpretation from the way you were.
Mr. Kwesi,
The legal matters.
you mentioned that from Monday.
Exactly, exactly.
So can you just take us to what we should expect from
Okay,
this
so quickly, what has transpired now and what makes it so serious and illegal is that we have a fundamental flaws. Do you get it? The law says that per Article 37 of the GFA statute that Mr. Keto Kreku says we should respect. Now he can't be the president because what they've done is even worse. They were under the erroneous impression that he was sworn into office on 25th October.
Yeah.
So they have to double up and do everything,
Before the
disrespect the
time,
court
yeah.
before the 20th. But that is wrong. in football, we don't go by when you are elected or when you are sworn into. We have a calendar.
Okay.
Our football calendar is the ordinary Congress.
Right.
So whether the ordinary Congress takes place in January, February, December, or it doesn't matter. But then technically, it's between August and September. Right. That is when most of our leagues would have come to an end and so on and so forth.
That's why initially it was scheduled for them.
Yes. So the effect of the ordinary Congress is that close one chapter and then simultaneously open another chapter. So the moment you attend an ordinary session, it means the season is ended. And it is stated in the law. Right. Article 37(4) is clearly stated there. And it says your mandate begins the very day the president is elected into office at the ordinary Congress. The law again says in Article 32, 2Q, that the election of the president is a mandatory item. You can never skip it.
So, Mr. Kwesi, in this instance, the ordinary Congress was done. The president was not voted.
That is a very serious sin.
Exactly. So now what would have happened if there was no election? They should wait for another ordinary Congress next year.
It is just that the member, you see, when you're on a battlefield, you don't release all your arsenals at the same time. I was handling large gold issues at the same time, large aggressors issues. So I had to offload most of the cases to other people. So they were taking it one after the other. Okay. You understand? So the members were just watching whether they would still go ahead and disrespect the court. If they did, then they would just come and tell the court that, okay, they were supposed to do ordinary Congress. They didn't even do it in the first place. So that alone, they are in trouble. The law also says that the ESCO members and the president, their mandate is the same, and it should commence the same day. So you go and do the president first, and then later you want to do the RFAs. The RFAs too, you need component onto the ESCO. So that means you flouted the Constitution again. Are you getting the point? As we speak, they don't have the locus. Anybody at all, not even a member of the GFA, could go to court and say that the matter is before the Court of Competent Jurisdiction. They have breached most provision of the Constitution, and therefore, as soon as they conduct fresh election, it means they've terminated whatever periods are ahead of them. According to them, it was 25th, which is never the case. Now, even if it is 25th, you're going to conduct new elections. It means your tenure is... You want to begin...
Just hold on. We're back here on WarmUp Plus. We ended with a termination, but we've terminated it. We're not going back there for now. You can see Mr. Kwesi pay his legal fees if you want this. But I mean, we're just wrapping up here. Mr. Ohene, Mr. Kwesi, any last words?
Well, even before we get into the legal matters from next week, the FA would have to run. We assume that we've elected new leadership. What I expect the new leadership to do is to get everybody together. And Kurt's first term office, his utterances did not help. Right, after the election, his first interview on radio, national radio, I can't work with my enemies. But at least for this one, in his acceptance speech, we saw some level of maturity in terms of how he wants to handle his perceived enemies.